Greetings and welcome to the Pampering Myself podcast, an advocacy for self-care. We'll laugh, we'll cry, and most importantly, we'll learn that you can't pour from an empty cup. You'll hear stories, interviews, and conversations which will empower you in living your best life. Hello, podcast listeners. I bet the title of this podcast piqued your curiosity. Well, come on in and join us. But I must warn you, it's not what you think, but I'm sure it's just what the doctor ordered. In the last episode, we talked about decluttering our homes. Perfect timing as we entered into the spring season. Even the most subtle changes can make a big difference in how we feel. You know, our home should be a place where we feel comfortable and we can relax. But the research has shown us that when we have a lot of clutter around us, then it's hard to relax and it could cause stress and anxiety. So I gave you some helpful tips just in case the whole process of decluttering in itself is stressful. Now, in today's episode, we're going to talk about or focus on one of the most important rooms in our home, the bedroom, hence pillow talk. But before we get into how we want to make the bedroom stress-free, let's talk about the importance of sleep. Believe it or not, statistics have shown that there are 50 to 70 million people in America who suffer from sleep disorders. And it can be for a variety of reasons. We won't even have to really get into that. But lack of sleep can only hinder your daily functioning, and it can also have an adverse effect on your health and well-being. And according to the healthcare community, it increases your risk of heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, obesity, depression, heart attacks, and strokes. So sleep is important. I know a lot of people say they can function off of only 2 or 3 or 4, maybe even 5 hours a night. But the research shows that is not true. They may think they can function off that, but inside tells a whole different story. Because sleep is important because it gives our body time to rejuvenate by sharpening our brain cells and giving our heart and blood vessels time to relax. Now, I know we don't think about that, but sleep is our body's way of repairing itself. And when we don't get enough sleep or we toss and turn, we're not allowing our body to repair itself. There's so many health benefits when we get enough sleep, and there's so many deficiencies or harmful things when we don't get enough. Now, the medical community says or suggests that we get 7 to 8 hours a night. I know that's kind of impossible for a lot of reasons, but we have to try and do that. And although there are some that believe, again, that they can function off of less, then they don't really know what the harm they're doing internally. So there are some things we can do, not only to ensure a good night's sleep, but to also allow our bodies time to rejuvenate. So let's dive right into it. Now, the first thing we want to do is to make sure that our bedroom is nice and dark. The darkness triggers the production of melatonin, and melatonin is a hormone that signals to our body to wind down. So whenever we're trying to sleep, if we have all these lights, I know particularly my clock has a light, my cable TV has a light on it. Even though these are subtle lights, they can still keep you awake. Or you may have some type of shading or curtains. I know some people, like I used to work with a lady who worked these crazy hours. And in the summertime, you know, it might not get dark till 9 o'clock in the evening. She would be in the bed at 8. So, you know, the room may or may not be that dark depending on how many windows and what type of window treatment you have on it. But the first thing is to have a dark room. Number 2 is to put that phone down. That's one of the biggest reasons why people can't sleep, because they're attached to their phones, either checking their email or social media. Now, did you know that the short wave, that blue light that comes on from the phone, actually stimulates the nervous system and disrupts the melatonin? So I know a lot of us also use alarm clocks. Well, let's put it this way. We use our phones for an alarm clock. I still have an alarm clock in my room. I don't use it. I have to admit, I do use my cell phone as my alarm clock. But it's suggested that we go back to the old ways. Now, my alarm clock is digital, and that's a light, but I turn it around so that I don't actually see the light or what time it is. Number 3, when we talk about comfort, we're talking about mattress and pillows. I remember when we first got our pillow top mattress, it was really hard to adjust to. The experts say when selecting a mattress, you should consider how you sleep and the position of your spine. Now, if you sleep on your back and have an S curve, a soft mattress that conforms provide better support. And if you and your partner have a 75-pound difference, you should look into adjustable mattress. I hate shopping for new mattress because just laying down on them in the store doesn't really give you, it gives you a false sense of feel. And it's after a few nights, once you get the mattress, that you have to really make an adjustment and you determine whether or not it'll work for you. Number 4 is the perfect pillow. I have yet to find the perfect pillow, but it all depends on what type of sleeper you are, whether you sleep on your stomach, your back, or your side. Now, I like to sleep on my stomach, although there are times that I will roll over and sleep on my side. But my chiropractor said the best position with respect to spine health is to sleep on your back. And I tried it for a while, and it was comfortable once you get used to it. But I've always been, like I said, a stomach sleeper. And I like flat pillows. So it's funny because the research says that stomach sleepers really don't need a pillow. And I can get away with it because there are times that I might throw my pillow out of the bed and just sleep on my stomach. But those nights that I rotate, I need that pillow. And once again, for side sleepers, they say a pillow should be just enough to put up under your head to keep your head from tilting. And that's basically how I do it. Because it's firm and flat, I can ball it up and I stick it right up under my neck to give me that support. Number 5 is consistency. Experts say you should go to bed and get up on a regular schedule. Now, for most of us, our body clocks usually signal when we're sleepy and when to wake up. And I remember being resistant to this, especially if I was on vacation or if I had some days off. You know, the thought of being able to just sleep in is a good thought. But I have problems with that. Now, I know some people who can. So generally, a sleep in for me is what I had to come to grips with is about 45 minutes after my regular time of getting up. And that's usually about as long as I can sleep in. Because for years you figure people are on schedules, especially if you work and you work those same hours, you're accustomed to getting up that same time every day, maybe adjusting for the weather. For those of us who live in states where we get to snow. But other than that, you get up at the same time every day. Now, I generally try to stay up late thinking that it would make me stay in the bed longer, and it doesn't work because it doesn't matter what time I go to bed. If I go to bed at 8 o'clock at night or if I go to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to still wake up at the same time. But I realize, again, that those 45 minutes is sleeping in for me. So I just get up. Even if I'm off and I don't have anything else to do, I get out the bed because I can't lay there. And finally, number 6, consider the temperature of the room and the bedding. A cool room is best, according to Sleep Behavioral Clinic. And you may want to either adjust the layers on your bed or change it out altogether, depending on the season. I don't change the weight of my comforter. It's year round. What I do is I'll kick it off and I'll either sleep with the sheet on me because I just feel the need to have something. Or in the wintertime, I'll sleep with the comforter. Most times, if it gets too warm, I'll just kick it off. But the temperature of the house is dialed down because if it's too hot, then that have a tendency to wake me up. So with a few minor changes for the sake of our health, we have to find a way to get sufficient amount of sleep. And that would include a night of sleep that is uninterrupted. And by all means, if you wake up in the middle of the night, please don't pick up that phone because what you're doing then is really lowering your chances of being able to go back to sleep. It will only make matters worse. So we went over 6 things that'll help you and your health for a better night's sleep. Just to recap, you want to make sure the room is dark. You want to put down that phone. You want to consider the type of mattress and pillows that you have. You want to talk about consistency. You want to go to bed and get up at the same time every night. And you also want to monitor the temperature in your room and make sure that it is dialed down and cool so that you can sleep in comfort. So I hope you found this information helpful and consider incorporating some of these changes if you're having problems sleeping through the night. This would be helpful. Any of the other causes or worries or stress or things of that nature that may be keeping you up at night, you will have to find a way of dealing with those the best way you can. But understand the importance of getting sleep, a sufficient amount of sleep. And if right now you are not getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep, at least try to target the lower end. 7 hours, 6 to 7 hours, and then work yourself up. But saying that you can survive off of 3 or 4 hours is just not true, nor is it healthy. So I wish you all the best, and until next time, be blessed and enjoy your day.